Today I'd like to show you how to make Hunters Chicken with a side of veg and a side of mash. So allow me to introduce you to the ingredients. We have 1 can of chopped tomatoes, 400 millilitres, 5 chicken thighs, half a cup of cheddar, a quarter cup of parmesan, half a cup of chicken stock, 2 tablespoons of cornflour, 2 small onions diced, 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, 1 tablespoon of garlic powder, 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, 1 teaspoon of mustard powder, 1 teaspoon of paprika, half a teaspoon of pepper, 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1 tablespoon of balsamic vinegar. And for the sides, we have the mash, so that's 4 potatoes chopped and peeled, and a generous portion of veggies. So let me introduce you to the equipment. First of all, we're going to want a bowl for mashing the potatoes. We're also going to want a steam trivet. So we want a long leg trivet and a steamer and a set of measuring cups, an immersion blender, and this more or less consists of adding the entire set of ingredients all in one go. So first of all, we'll add the chicken. We can then add the tomatoes. The onions, the chicken stock, we now want to add the spices. So first of all, we've got the mustard powder, the paprika, the pepper, the soy sauce, the garlic powder, the tomato puree, the smoked paprika, the onion granules, the balsamic vinegar, the apple cider vinegar, and the maple syrup. So now we've added all of the ingredients, we want to give it a stir, just to combine. We now want to check the lid, make sure it's set to lock, and select manual, 15 minutes. Now if you have the turbo button, you can select the turbo button and that will take it down to 9 minutes. We're also going to allow for a 5-minute natural pressure release. So once the cook time's finished, we will then leave it for 5 minutes until we instantly depressurize. Now, if you're using potatoes for the mash, it's at this point you'll want to add the trivet, the steamer basket, and place the potatoes directly over the top. Obviously, we now just need to check to make sure the lid is set to seal and not vent. And we want 15 minutes. Manual mode, 15 minutes. Now the pressure cooker's come up to temperature, the timer of 15 minutes has begun. We can now begin cooking the vegetables. So first of all, we want to add a cup of water and place our veg directly into the pot. We now want to just check to make sure the lid is set to sealed and lock in position. and then using manual mode. If you prefer the veg to have more of a bite, I suggest 2 minutes. If you prefer your veg to be slightly softer, I suggest 3. The cooker itself will take approximately 10 to 11 minutes to come up to temperature, so that should time in perfectly with the cooking of the chicken. So we simply want to select obviously 2 or 3 minutes and begin. It's entirely optional how you wish to mash the potatoes. You can either use a hand masher or you can use a blender, both of which will achieve very similar results. So the second pressure cooker has now come up to pressure and the timer of 3 minutes for the veggies has begun. Meanwhile, we have 2 minutes left on the chicken. So the crock pot has now finished cooking. We're now going to leave this for 5 minutes to naturally depressurize. Meanwhile, the veggies are now ready, so we can begin depressurizing. You'll see I've added a funnel onto the top, which will divert the steam. We can leave the veggies on keep warm until we're ready to serve. So now we've had a 5-minute natural depressurize, we can open up the pressure valve and switch off the pressure cooker. If you wish to, you can add a towel over the vent. Now the lid's depressurised and unlocked, we can remove the lid. And using heat-proof gloves, we can remove the potatoes. And we want to place those into a bowl. We can now remove the trivet. And we want to take the chicken and place it onto the plates. Now for the sauce, we want to add our cornflour. And using a blender, we want to blend it to a smooth consistency. We now have our potatoes. There are a few things you can add to potatoes when you mash them. You can either use a small amount of butter, a small amount of cream, or a small amount of milk. Now we'll just mash the potatoes. Now we have our mash ready to go. Now my suggestion for serving mash is to use an ice cream scoop. Nice and easy to portion control, nice and easy to remove the mash from the spoon, and at the same time you get a lovely finish of mash. You get an absolutely perfectly creamy ball of mash placed on the plate, which looks fantastic. Which are ready to serve. And we can switch off both pressure cookers. It's now time for the taste test. The chicken is perfectly succulent, perfectly tender. The flavouring of the sauce, the tomato, the smoky, a hint of spice and paprika. It's an incredible taste. It's almost like a very subtle barbecue. The mash is lovely and creamy and perfectly presented using the ice cream scoops. All in all, this is a perfect blend, a great dish to try. I highly recommend it. And topped with parmesan and cheddar is like the icing on the cake. Absolutely delicious. So give this recipe a go, let me know what you think, and I reckon this is going to be one of your regulars. I hope you've enjoyed the cooking as much as I've enjoyed the cooking, and I hope you're enjoying the food eating as much as I'm enjoying the eating. Thanks again, see you in the next one.